Hey guys, Mystic Frost here. So like I said in the last video, this video I've got some replays which took place on October 7th, which was Friday. I've got several here and then one on October 8th. We're going to ignore this one on September 27th because that was with my Red Rose deck, which, sorry, Black Rose deck, not Red Rose. So this is all using my Elemental Hero deck. As you saw in the side profile, the same deck that we used in yesterday's video. This one's against somebody called One Arcana. So instantly I've seen Dark Magician with the baggy, is it baggy sleeves or trick up my sleeve, whatever his skill's called. We're going first. Now I prefer to go second using this Elemental Hero deck. I feel the pop of Sunrise is much more beneficial. But as you can see, we didn't really open great. So we've got Master and Cosmic Cyclone set. So if we just pause this for a second. Thank you. So we've got Cosmic Cyclone and Mass Change set. We have Liquid Soldier in defense. Now, obviously, we don't run the Mass Target Change. He has the Dark Magic Circle, which added Magician's Navigation. So I'm assuming this is what he set, along with the face down. But then he set down another card. So I draw into Solid Soldier. He activates his Treacherous Trap ult, which then automatically tells me which one is his navigation. So I activate Cosmic just to get the pop, and then the Mass Change on the Solid Soldier to get Diane. There goes his Magician Navigation. So I assumed he didn't have a Dark Magician in the hand, and I was correct. He only had the Illusion, Magician of Dark Illusion, which acts as Dark Magician on the field, but not in his hand. So he gets the banish off. However, not really that bothered. I activate the Miracle Fusion. The Miracle Fusion gives me Sunrise. I activate Sunrise's effect here. So I'm assuming this is when I was still running 2 Mass Change in the deck. Not 2 Mass Change, 2 Miracle Fusion, which I was. I discard of Forbidden and set the Mass Change face down. So here he goes again. Goes to banish my monster, but I use the Mass Change to target to bring out Koga. Because he has 2 monsters on the field, my Koga's 3500, making Koga a little bit of a beast. I used reinforcements of the army to get Stratos. I summoned Stratos to the field. Here I add to hand. I don't know why I added to hand. That's why, because I wanted to do Miracle Time, to send Miracle Fusion back to add the poly, and then fuse with the 2 monsters. So here comes Great Tornado, which will half his monster's attack, which is always nice. And then obviously we've still got Koga as well. I activate Koga's effect, banish him, bringing his attack down 0, and boom, that is game. So that's how we play around Dark Magician when this deck pops off right. So that was a fun game. So into the next replay here, we're against Angelio, if I'm pronouncing that even remotely correctly. If you watch enough of my videos now, you know I can't pronounce words for shit. And we're against Dr. Vivian Crowler, so again, my mind automatically goes to Ancient Gears. We are going second, which is what we prefer, and if we win, we go up a rank. Now, I do actually remember this game. This was a very straightforward game. I don't think they did well. I think they bricked here as well. So they activate their fortress and set a card, and that's it. Activate reinforcements of the army. Again, I don't know why I grabbed Solid Soldier. I grabbed it because I thought I'll swing for 13, play Mass Change, which is 28, and that's game. However, yeah, I could have been a lot more smart with what I grabbed, but here's what it is. It worked. So, for example, there, I did misplay. Even though I won and I OTK'd, I misplayed in my opinion. I should have grabbed Stratos. Stratos on someone would have grabbed any other Elemental Hero for any follow-up plays if his face-down card was something to stop me. Stratos with 1800 would have still swung. Activate the Mass Change into Blast with 2200, still making 4k. The only difference there is I'd have an extra Elemental Hero in hand for follow-up, and then Blast could also bounce a spell or trap card on the field if that was needed. So, looking back on that duel, even though you know, in the moment, sweet, cool, it's an OTK, I win. It was very much a misplay on my half there. So always bear that in mind. So now we're against Lizzo. So I don't remember this one. Soul Bear now. So win streak of 5. And we're about to upset them. Rise of the Valley of Flames, so we know straight away it is Salamon Great. With my opening hand going first, it is not terrible because I can summon Stratos to get any other monster, poly into Sunrise, and then Miracle Fusion into another monster. Now, I can't remember if that's exactly what I did here, but I'm kind of hoping I did. Yep, so there's the polymerization. There is the Sunrise. Now, Liquid Soldier will activate. Activate the Miracle Fusion into Great Tornado, because that's the only one I could have done. And we've got some power on the field there. We've also got Mass Change, and we have Treacherous. So we are in a very good, very strong position here. So he goes Lady Debug to get the Gazelle. He then links off Lady Debug straight off the bat into Balinx, which is quite clever because I always thought Balinx had to be a fire type that you linked into, but it doesn't, so that's really cool. He activates his field spell and activates Silent Mining, discarding of Jack Jaguar, which can special summon in the grave. Activates his Mirror's effect to special summon, links into Sunlight Wolf. Now, Gazelle activates because a monster was sent from field to grave. Gazelle can be special summoned from hand. Now, if he target special summoned it to this zone here, then Sunlight Wolf would have been activated as well, which then I believe what does he do when that happens? But for us to turn special monster main phase. Okay, so it had to be linked to the zone this card points to. You can add one fire monster from your graveyard to hand. So I can't assume that's what you do there, but he didn't. Activated Gazelle's effect. I decided to go for Tretch here. He activates Balinx, getting rid of Roar. Now, what I didn't know about Balinx as well up to this point, I knew Balinx would protect his monster from destruction. I didn't realise it would protect both monsters. So that's quite cool. That was a very interesting thing. And funny enough, that actually came up at my locals yesterday. So I was fully aware of how to play around that based on having this duel. So that was quite interesting. So Sunlight Wolf will now activate to get him Roar back. He sets 2 cards, one of which I'm assuming is Roar. He now activates Jack Jaguar's effect, which, if you don't know, is you target one other monster in your graveyard and shuffle it back into the deck. And then you can special summon Jack Jaguar onto the field. Now, a lot of people would do this to recycle their link monsters. However, he decided to target Mir and send Mir back. Because this is activated, he managed to return another one. So I had a 50-50 chance of getting Raw. I activated the Econ. I managed to get the warning point. I'm not overly worried about warning point, but it is what it is. We got rid of something. So I activated Sunrise. He activates Raw, which negates and destroys. Yep. But I'm still got more attack points to get over his Jack Jaguar. And then, not his Jack Jaguar, his Gazelle. Then I mass change into Blast. I use Blast to half a Sunlight Wolf and then swing into that as well. So he decides to link out straight into Balinx again, which is fine. So here, Balinx, Jack Jaguar effect activates, returning Sunlight Wolf and special summon itself, then linking straight off into Sunlight Wolf again. he summons Lady Debug. Lady Debug will get searched. Sunlight Wolf will activate to return a fire monster from his graveyard to hand. He adds Mir back. Mir, because it's been added to hand, can be special summoned. So again, he special summons, linking into 3. No, he links into 2 is Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf will activate to give him his Salamangreat Great Roar back. He sets 1 and uses his spell to go Sunlight Wolf into Sunlight Wolf. This time swapping positions, and I decided to activate Blast in the end phase to bounce his monster, and then he skipped out, not bounce his monster, to bounce his the continuous trap card. Not continuous, counter trap card, I can't remember what it's called now. Salamangreat Great Roar, I'm pretty sure. And then he scooped it up because he realised he only had an 1800 attack position monster and his Jaguar defense. I outpowered his monster. However, as you saw, I drew Rota. There wasn't really much I could do. Yes, I could get Stratos out. Stratos would add another card to my hand and then beat over both his monsters, but he definitely wasn't out of that game. So if he actually stuck around, he may have turned that duel around and picked up a win. But I'm happy he decided to scoop. He thought it wasn't worth the time and thought, you know, the writing's on the wall, so let's just scoop it up and move on. So here we're against Jim Crocodile Crook. Now, I did face a couple of gyms over the weekend, and one of them was so back and forth. I can't even remember if I won or lost that game. This may be that duel, because I may even have lost this duel and saved the replay because it was that good. I honestly can't remember. But he activates Magnetic Field, which makes me think, oh, he's playing some form of magnets as well, because... But then, no. Magnetic Field is Earth monsters, so he just bounces my monster, which is not great for me because now I'm wide open. So, but then it turns out he is playing magnets, so he's playing a magnet fossil build, which is quite interesting. He gets some 1500 chip damage off, which is fine. We're not overly fussed about that. We're happy with Stratos. Summon Solid Soldier, special summon Stratos. I use Stratos here to pop his field spell just because we don't want our monsters to continuously get bounced. We then fuse into Sunrise, so Sunrise is here, and then we Miracle Fuse into a Great Tornado. So Great Tornado will half his Beta's attack, which is not a problem, because I swing, I go for the pop on Sunrise, he activates Beta's effect to send to graveyard to special summon Delta. Delta's effect activates on summon to add a... I thought it added 1 to hand, but apparently sends 1 to deck. But swing, 3200, 29 to the face. I activate Mass Change, giving up Sunrise for Koga. Koga swings for game. And that was how we do that. So this wasn't the duel I was thinking of. I must have lost the other duel and just didn't save it. But yeah, there we go. That's how we take out magnets. So this deck is very, very capable of winning duels and winning duels fast, but it all comes down to what you draw, and obviously that's the same with every deck, but I do feel with this one it is either you draw good, you win, you draw bad, you lose. Whereas with other decks in the game, for example like DDD, you could draw bad but still have enough on the field to protect you for at least a turn or two, whereas with this deck you don't. To put it simply, as we can see here, not the best starting hand, but not the worst, especially since we're going second. Now this threw me off. This 100% threw me off. I was not expecting a Red Eyes player at all. And he goes into the Archfiend Black Skull Dragon straight away. This thing is a threat. If you don't know what this thing does, he is here to kill your dreams, to put it simply. It's any one level 6 Archfiend normal monster, which this dude acts as a normal because he's a Gemini, and a Red Eyes normal monster. So it doesn't have to be Red Eyes Black Dragon, just a Red Eyes normal monster, but you know, Red Eyes Black Dragon is the most common one, especially in Duel Links. And then basically he negates effects. What bat was it? So you attack it, or he attacks you, those effects are negated. And then he can target a Red Eyes monster in the grave, return it back to the deck, and you lose half of that monster's life points. So he sends Red Eyes back to the deck, and you lose 1200. So not only is he 3200, but he inflicts 1200 burn damage as well. Like, this guy is a threat. He then activates this and decides to fire another Red Eyes fusion, because why the fuck not? He sets 2 cards and passes. He doesn't need to do anything else here. He activates Red Eyes Fangwood Chain. Now, that is a clusterfuck and a half. Because now, any effect monster on my side of the field, he can suck up, and his monster becomes that monster's attack. So fine, all of my monsters are weaker, but he can just go, nope, that's mine, done, and leave me fucking wide open. However, you'll see here, there is some misplays coming up. This was a misplay on my behalf, I believe. I believe I should have summoned Stratos and then fused, but it is what it is. So Sunrise will activate here, and then Liquid Soldier will activate. He then activates Return of the Red Eyes to bring his Gemini monster back, which, if you don't know what this Gemini monster does, when you normal summon it, so it will take up another normal summon, you can destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense lower than this card's attack. And there isn't a lot of monsters with 2500 or more attack and duel links, especially ones that are used in actual competitive decks. Off the top of my head, I can only think of Ruddy Rose Dragon and, of course, this bitch. So, yeah, basically, if it gets to his turn again, he can normal summon that and then just wipe everything on my side of the field. So I can't allow this motherfucker to stay. So I summon Stratos, which I got added. Go to pop his Red Eyes Fangwood Chain. No, I haven't even targeted yet. I've just selected, but that was going to be my target. He then activates it. I'm assuming he believed that the suck-up of the Stratos would negate it, but it doesn't, because it's an on-summon effect. So unless you've got, like, Fiendish Chain, it's just getting it off the field doesn't negate it, because it's already touched. As soon as it touches the field, the effect is live. So all that done was give me a second target of popping that the continuous trap instead, and he weakened his own monster down to 1800. So that's fucking good for us. Obviously, he didn't know this, I'm assuming. So there's a little bit of a misplay there, but you know, he'll learn from that, hopefully. I go in Great Tornado, I half everything on the field, making this bitch not even a threat anymore either. He's on 900. I swing into here. He activates the his thing, so I couldn't activate card effects, and then just boom, I hit the Red Eyes, and that was game. So that one was very squeaky bum time. That could have gone horribly wrong, because when I activated Summon Stratos to pop his back row, if he grabbed Sunrise in that position instead of Stratos, there would have been no other hero monsters on the field, so therefore Stratos wouldn't have activated. It wouldn't have worked, because there was nothing else on my side of the field. So yeah, that went horribly wrong for him in that scenario, which was a shame. This one was from a day later. This is from somebody called Slimy, so let's have a look, see what Slimy chucks at us. He's in Platinum Rank 1, I'm in Platinum Rank 5 at this stage. And we're against Callan Kessler. Now, I'm just going to pause this one straight off the bat, because I've got something to say on this fucking deck. I can't remember if he's playing Infernity. I'm assuming he is, because it's Callan Kessler. But I am pissed off that Konami nerfed Black Rose as much as they did. Because, first of all, they made Rox Rose Dragon limit 2, so you can't play Treacher in the deck. Okay, we can get past that. There's Rox Rose was your starter. You'd summon Rox Rose, get your quick play, special summon White Rose, go into your Black Rose, or go into any other level 7 Synchro monster. You've got your quick play spell to bring back Rock's Rose to go into Ready Rose if you're going second. Otherwise, you play it as a defensive card, whatever. You want to make Rock's Rose limit 2. That's their starter. Their starter. As well as a semi-searcher. It's not an extender. It's a starter. So therefore you're making the deck weaker straight off the bat. But then with heroes, they limited this guy to 2, which is an extender, which means it doesn't start the play. You do not start with this, but it extends because it allows you to draw 2 cards and then ditch a card. So it extends to give you more plays. That's the difference between a starter and an extender. Now, through the KC Cup, Black Rose and Heroes were running rampant. So they decided to hit the Black Rose starter, but only the Heroes extender. So first of all, that's not a fair hit. Right, if you're limiting Rock's Rose to 2, Stratos should have been limited to 2. That should have been the hit. Rock's Rose and Stratos. That would have been a fair hit to both of the top tier decks, but it wasn't. So if you wanted to do the extenders, that's obviously Liquid Soldier and White Rose Dragon. Or even the the quick play spell, the Basil Rose Shoot. They are extender cards. So therefore, again, that would have been fair. But no, we want to hit the Black Rose starter, but only the Heroes extender. And then they fucked the Black Rose skill to make it from twice a duel to once a duel. So therefore, you're fucked. The skill's worse, the deck's worse, and you have to fill it with shit plant types to make the archetype at least semi-playable, because people have invested into 3 structure decks. But then this fucking deck, Infinity, is so fucking ridiculously overpowered. They just go off to the point where their skill gives them a 4th continuous spell card, which is their Infinity Launcher, which makes this deck so damn consistent and so damn spammy. Like, they can literally get 3 or 4 XEs and Synchros out on the field in one fucking turn because of Infinity Launcher. But instead of going, oh no, wait, this is a problem card, especially with the extra deck zones where they now have zones to fill to do these plays, this is a problem card, let's fill that up, let's nerf this to 2, let's change the skills so you have to lose 1500 life points or some shit like that to make the skill still consistent but worse off. No, they don't fucking touch it. And this deck is just so fucking ridiculously powered. But this guy, I'm assuming, bricked because he doesn't do much here. So he activates Shell of a Ghost, which puts that on top, and ends his turn. He's got that in the deck, and he's in the grave, and that. So he activates Infinity Barrier, which negates my monster's effect and destroys it. And because it's a continuous trap, I can't chain mass change to it because of the speed spells. Activate Fusion to get Sunrise. Sunrise will activate to get Miracle Fusion, and then Liquid Soldier will activate to draw 2. I had to drop a card, so I dropped Blazeman because it just was not that important anymore. I activate Miracle Fusion to go into Nova Master here. So when Nova Master destroys a monster and sends it to a graveyard, I get to draw a card. I activate Sunrise to pop the back row, but it uses Infinity Break. So I activate the mass change to dodge the Infinity Break this time because it's not a counter trap. I can chain to it. Therefore I swing for 2900. He activates Infinity Sage to send a monster, and then I swing. So he drew bad. If he did not draw, if he drew his Infinity Launcher or Infinity Archfiend in his opening hand, that would have popped off. So this video is only 24 minutes. I'm going to show you what I mean. I was able to play through this when Black Rose was at full power. But that's Black Rose at full power. I don't believe any other deck in the meta right now would be able to play through what happens here. So we're going second, so that instantly puts us on a good footing, because that means we have the extra draw. So as you can see, my starting hand is okay. I've got some back row removal, I've got the Tretch, I've got the White Rose Dragon, and I've got the Blue Rose to discard for the skill if needed. from his hand, card advance. So card advance straight away. Look at the top 5 cards of his deck and place them in any order. And then you contribute 1 monster in addition to your normal summon. Then he activates Into the Void. So this allows him to draw 1 card. But during the end phase he has to discard all of his cards. So he's just been able to look at his top 5 cards, put them in any order he wants, and then draw the top card. He sets 1, activates Infinity Launcher, which then he activates straight away. Which is, you can send 1 Infinity Monster from your hand to the graveyard. So his hand is now empty, so his draw card, where he has to discard his hand at the end of the turn, no longer matters. Then you can send this card to the graveyard and target up to 2 Infinity Monsters in your graveyard and special summon them. So he sends Archfiend. Then he can special summon Archfiend back, which allows him to search any Infinity card. I believe it's any. When this card's special summon, you can, any Infinity card back, Infernity, sorry, not Infinity, which then he normal summons, because he hasn't normal summoned yet. He activates his skill. His skill puts a 4th copy. This isn't from, like, just take it from the deck and add it, move it to the top. No, this adds the card to the top of the deck. So this is just added to the top of the deck. So the other 4 cards that he's looked at and put in any order are still in that order on top of his deck, just with Infinity Launcher put on top. And he summons Stardust Warrior, which allows him to draw a card. Right? So now he's got that Infinity Launcher. And check this out. He plays the Infinity Launcher to get back the 2 monsters from his graveyard. 1 a level 4 and 1 a level 2 tuner. And when the level 4 is summoned, he can add any Infinity card from his deck to his hand. And look at that, a 3rd Infinity Launcher already in turn 1, which he now activates. He now synchros his monsters into Infinity Doom Archlord. Now I'm not sure what this fucker does. Where you have no cards in your hand if this card battles opponent's monster, yeah, so that's fine. But now he activates Infinity Launcher to bring back his 2 monsters again. And with the level 4, when it's special summoned, guess what he adds? The 4th Infinity Launcher. The 4th one. That is so ridiculously fucking broken. It is unreal. He now goes into Exostag using his 2 level 6s, which then he goes into the Digital Bud Rhino bus, and then he synchros into Red Wyvern. Now, if you don't know what Rhino bus does, is if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. And then once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach an Xyz monster from, a material from this card and destroy the face-up monster your opponent controls with the highest defense. So that is an instant pop. As soon as you summon the monster, gone. And Red Wyvern is, if I summon a monster which has more than 2400 attack, Red Wyvern can pop it. So if I go higher than Red Wyvern to try and get over Digital Burst, Red Wyvern can pop. If I summon a starter or an extender to do my plays, Rhino Bus can pop it. But yet, he ain't done yet. Because, of course, why would he be done when he's got the 4th Infinity Launcher to bring back 2 Archfiend monsters? Not Archfiend, Infinity monsters. As such, he brings back his Synchro monster he just detached and his 1800, which then allows him to add Suppression. Which is if you have no cards in your hand, you can activate this card during the turn it was set. When your opponent activates a monster effect where you control an Infinity monster, negate the effect and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's level times 50. So there's some burn power and a negate. And all of this because that skill is so damn broken. And that's it. So we know he's got a negate, a pop for 2400, any pop at all, a random mystery face down card which we don't know. So I have to do what I can. I go to pop the back row card, which turns out was an MST itself. So it wasn't that important, but I had to get rid of it in case it was the counter trap card that Infinity play. I discarded the Blue Rose, I summoned the Rocks Rose here, add the Quick Play spell. Now I expected him to have popped the Rocks Rose off the bat, but he chooses not to. Whether that's a misplay on his behalf or him just holding out, I don't know. But here comes Black Rose Dragon. I decide I need to bait some negates. I need to bait something out here. So I go for Black Rose and go to activate to wipe the field and activate White Rose Dragon. So the White Rose is chain blocked, so he cannot negate the White Rose, but he can negate the Black Rose. So Black Rose doesn't work, I lose 350 damage, but Carrot Champion goes to the grave. I activate Carrot Champion's effect to special summon, and then activate Rose Girl to add Rose Girl back to hand. I activate the Quick Play spell to bring back Rock's Rose Dragon. Now he activates Rose Dragon here and Rhino Bus. So he's activated a pop on a monster with, if this card's on the field, and destroy one monster on the field that has the highest attack. Okay, I thought it had to have more attack than this. If a monster with high attack than the Synchro Summon card is on the field. So I don't understand how he's activated that. I'm guessing because Rhino Bus has more attack, maybe. But then he's also activated Rhino Bus. So he can now pop my Red Rose, my Black Rose, sorry, and any other monster. So, but he was not reading his cards correct. So this card, target one face-up monster on the field. He assumed that was on my side. So this was a fuck up on his half. He popped his own Rhino Bus. Rhino Bus popped my Black Rose. However, I had a second Black Rose in the grave. So his Red Wyvern destroyed his Rhino Bus. His Rhino Bus destroyed my Black Rose Dragon, but then I was able to go into another one. Now, yes, that was a fuck up on his behalf, but this would have resulted in the same, because his Red Wyvern could not destroy my monsters because they're not higher than his. Okay, so if you're with me so far, that didn't really matter, even though he misplayed. This Black Rose activates the effect, wiping everything on the field, so then his Rhino Bus would have gone then anyway. I set the Tretch and pass turn. He activates MST to pop my Tretch, and he can't do nothing else. Now, because I have Rose Girl in hand, I can activate to bring back World Carrot Champion, and then I can add Rose Girl back to my hand. I also have Rock's Rose in my hand now. So I summon Rock's Rose to get the Quick Play spell. I use the Quick Play spell to bring back my Black Rose Dragon. He scoops here though. But I was going to bring back Black Rose Dragon, go into Ready Rose, clear the graveyards. I then wasn't going to pop because obviously there's nothing on his side field to pop. And then him and Carrot Weight would have been game. But like I said, this was full power Black Rose. I honestly believe there is no deck currently in the meta that could consistently go up against that starting board, because that was fucking ridiculous. But yet they don't want to touch this deck. No, because why? But anyway, that was the video for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. Leave in the comments below what you believe should be hit on the next ban list based on what you've seen already. With KC Cup coming up in November, we will get another ban list following. So like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.